breathe. Lessons learned. When you don't feel good, just, it's okay. It's okay to call off, but I didn't. My anxiety and my stress level has been through the roof, so much so this week that I'm legit getting sick from the stress, y'all. This whole thing about me, if you know me, you know me, is taking a toll. It's taking its toll. Like, I'm ready to crawl in my little hole like a hermit crab and cut everybody off. It's so bad. So, that being said, for those of you that haven't heard from me lately, it's because I'm just trying to exist. It's not that I don't love y'all. It's just I feel all the things, and I can't take everybody's feels plus my own feels when everybody's feels are crap. So, I may be a little MIA for a few days after this show, just so you guys know. We all need to take a break sometimes, and that's okay. I love y'all. Some of y'all, whew, I don't know what the hell y'all's going through, but it's killing me. I don't know what y'all are going through. Well, some of y'all I do, but I can't handle it. So fix y'all stuff. Fix y'all stuff. Yeah, digital detox is definitely a must sometimes. I don't know. Of course that turns off. If you're just tuning in, I'm Silly Lily. This is Lessons Learned. We meet here every Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Few of the shows, which are the app's rules, not my rules. No cussing, no drinking, no smoking. Be kind. I have zero patience or tolerance for food. So you'll immediately be gone. I don't care. I don't care. Don't be mean. Yeah, I guess we'll read the quote and do a question, and I'm just trying to get through this hour. My head is spinning. Life is a ball of yarn that someone got all tangled. In my house is connected to my internet. All my other I'll tell you, if it ends it, I'm done. I'm not coming back. It's not my Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi is on. It's fine. So I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, I guess let's start reading that again. It says, a ball of yarn that someone got all tangled. It would make sense if it were rolled up tight or if it were unrolled completely stretched out. But as it is, life is a problem without shape, a confusion of yarn leading nowhere. What ties you up in knots? Lots of things. I think my biggest issue lately is the lies. The lies. Why people feel the need to lie still baffles me. It blows my mind. Something else. I read a quote, and the question was, what ties you up in knots? Me, it's liars, mainly. I can't. And people who intentionally use other people. And by that, I mean, you constantly take, and you 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 take and you take and you take and take and take and take and take until that person has nothing left to give, and then you piece the F out. I hope people like that. If you're one of those people, Lord have mercy on your soul, because I wish all the evil upon you. All of it. All of it. Okay? And Karma enters the chat. Perfect timing, right? That was kind of epic. And the last thing that's got me tied up in knots is in like the last 6 months or so, I've kind of sort of thought to start dating. But tell me why these guys want to get all smexual within the first week of talking. Like, send me this, send me that. Ooh, you want to get together and blah, blah, blah. No, I don't. I don't know you from dirt in the ground. And that's the Lord have mercy. Men, get your acts together. Please, for the love of all things holy in this dating world. We're all broken. If you're single in your 40s, 50s, we're all broken. But quit breaking more people. If you're looking for one thing, just say that. If you're looking to be serious, say that. But the thing is, mean it. We are grown adults. We are not 16-year-old children in the phase of life. I ain't got time for that. Either you're all in or you're all out. And if you're not all in, get out. But Lord have mercy. If one more man tries to get into a sexual conversation with me before even meeting me in real life, I'm a lesbian. I'll never do it again. So those are the three things that tie me in knots. Men who can't seem to act like grown men. Ladies too. There's some ladies too. I ain't even going to play. People who lie and people who use people. Those are the three worst kind of people. Ugh. All right. I think that's all I have to say on that. Who wants to go first? I know I seen Bruce. All right, Bruce, go ahead, hon. Bruce, I'm not even gonna. I don't remember your exact topic. I know it.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Hold on, it was along the lines of, I know, being true to yourself and somehow.
Yeah, so I chose that the only thing we can control in our entire life is our own thoughts and our own actions.
Huh. Kind of. I didn't even remember that when I was still running my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of y'all here are probably going to get mad at me when we have this conversation, and I'm sorry, but I love you. Just know that in advance. So, welcome back, Bruce. They know who
Yes.
they are.
It's good to be here. I'm sorry you're feeling kind of under the weather.
I feel like it's an every Friday thing. I swear, every Friday I don't feel good, and that's why I don't not do this, because it's like every Friday. But it is what it is. But thanks for coming back. I
Yeah.
do really like this topic. What made you pick it?
So, I kind of reassess my mental health. I reassess my emotional status, my spiritual and physical status every so often. And I sort of was feeling a little bit off just in my personal life and my streaming career and stuff. And I try to figure out maybe why that was. And it's because I was trying to control a lot of different things, silly Lily. And I'm a big empath. I feel a lot of people's energy, and I get invested in a lot of people's lives as a result of that. And I just had to realize over time that I can't control other people. I can't control how much people love me. I can't control how much people hate me. The only thing that I can actually control in my own life is what I do next, my own thoughts, my own actions, and what people do around me is on them. They're either going to love me for it or they're going to hate me for it or somewhere in between. And I'm going to just have to continue to be the best version of myself. And that's just, I'm okay with that. It took me years to get there. I'm 41 now. And I've got a alphabet soup of mental health stuff going on with me. And I'm a recovering addict alcoholic, and I've shared that before. I'm not too concerned about sharing that. But yeah, I've come to peace with that recently, and it's really been a serenity moment for me as a result of that.
So let me ask you, what are some of the key signs that a relationship is toxic, no matter how much you want it to work? What are some of the key signs that what you're trying to, I'm gonna use the word force, right? Because you shouldn't have to feel like a forced friendship or relationship, whatever the relationship is, right?
Yeah.
So what are some of the signs that you need to look for when you're dealing with somebody that you genuinely care for, but they're running you ragged? You're not ready to walk away, but you know you should. So what are the signs that if someone's in that state right now that they should probably pay attention to?
I definitely think that if you're unable to have these open conversations, active listening conversations where you actually hear each other properly, that's definitely a red flag of toxicity. If you can't actually properly hear each other feedback wise, that's toxic, right? If you're being manipulated in any kind of way by that person, if there's any kind of trauma bonding going on, I don't know if people are familiar with the term trauma bonding, but
I
if
was
you
just gonna
feel
say
like
it's
yeah, if you feel like you've been love bombed at the beginning of the relationship and then you've been treated like absolute garbage and then you've been pushed away and then you've been love bombed and then that's kind of the trauma bonding theory behind it. That's very toxic. If there's continual manipulation of lying, narcissistic behavior, that's obviously very toxic. It really, at the end of the day, if both people are not pushing each other to become the best versions of themselves, I've always said that's kind of a form of settling, Lily.
yeah, absolutely. Um, I think the thing that I personally, throughout a lot of ex attempts at friendships and relationships, that I neglected, and I get really into these conversations sometimes, right? Like I get heated because I've been there, I've done that, and I'm
Yeah,
watching people I love go through things,
yeah,
right? And there's
yeah,
nothing you could do but sit back because they ain't gonna listen. They've proven
right.
time and time again they're not gonna listen, even though I'm I'm 99% of the time right. And you know what I mean? And there's nothing I could do but sit here. And now my problem with that is now I'm carrying your weight because you can't get your head down right, right? So here's my problem and here's where I sit. Do I have to cut you off too because I can't handle it? Or do I like hold on and hope that you make the changes for our friendship to work? Because I can't be around toxic, narcissistic, I have none. Y'all know me long enough that I have zero tolerance, zero patience. And once you cross a very fine line, I'm done. You know what I mean? Like it's how I've always been. And
Yeah,
I'm watching a lot of people continuously pick the settle. I'm constantly watching people settle, right?
yeah, yeah.
One example, I have a friend, love you, who has a neighbor constantly coming over, trying to get the food, running the neighbor rancid all over the
Mm,
place, doesn't take care of the things that she has, right? And she's The neighbor, my friend, is constantly giving and giving and giving and giving and running herself on E. So much so that I get mad. And I shouldn't be getting mad over other people's friendships and relationships, right? Nobody should.
Sure. Sure. But you
But
care. It's because you care.
I give a crap.
Yeah.
And like I don't know how much more I could tell this lovely individual. This individual is using and abusing you to the point of no return.
Right.
Y'all have to open your eyes and realize that when someone is not pouring back into your cup, they're using you, period. My whole point of that is you can't have a one-sided friendship. You can't pour and pour and pour and pour and pour into somebody else's cup without them pouring back, because what do you do when yours runs out?
No, exactly. And that's what's so important for me, Lily, about boundaries. I set healthy boundaries for myself with my relationships with people, that if it starts to impact like how I'm feeling about myself and my mental health and my emotional and spiritual and physical health, I'll actually distance myself from those people. And if they start violating my boundaries, then I'll have to cut them off completely. And it's no, it's not a reflection of anything other than the fact that I'm doing the best thing for myself at that point.
And it's getting harder and harder because the older you get and the more I do put myself first, the
Yeah.
more I realize most people aren't like that.
No, I understand. I understand.
Like I'm not a very social person anymore. I used to. Wasn't a night you'd catch me at home.
Yeah.
But now I find myself at home or at work and I very rarely go out. It's hard. It's hard to go out. People don't know how to act themselves.
Yeah, people are very self-absorbed is the best word I can kind of say. People are very self-absorbed. They are very kind of into themselves a lot of times. And frankly, technology has a lot to do with that, Lily.
Mhm. Well,
People are very relying on technology and they just sit home a lot of times and
I
it's
don't
just
even
it's
want to
nice.
say that people are self-absorbed because I think that that's giving them almost too much credit. I
Okay.
think people are too worried about fitting in that they're pretending to be what they're not. And I've used this before. If you're going to learn to play chess, I'm not going to find you on a football field. If you're trying to learn how to play football, I'm not going to find you at a chess table, right?
Yeah.
Too many people pretend to like things they don't like and they start friendships, relationships, whatever ships together, right? And if I'm willing, let's say that you love race cars, okay? I personally know nothing about race cars, but I come into your live, right? And I'm like, "Ooh, Bruce is cute. He likes race cars," and I pretend to like racing.
Right.
I've now started that friendship, relationship, whatever it could be, based off of a lie,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I've now told you a lie. And now 6 weeks down the road, we go to a race car event. It's proven I know nothing about it. And you're upset, and I'm upset because I don't know why you're upset. Well, because I started this whole thing off on a lie.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I see. Y'all be yourself. You can't find your tribe if you're not rocking your own vibe, right? You be yourselves and you're going to find your people. And
Well, and
it's
it's
okay to not have everything in common with your friends too. Bruce can love racing, I can love needlepoint, and we can still be friends. I know, crazy.
And it's hard to keep up with lies, and it's stressful, guys. Like it really is. Anybody that's tried to keep up with a lie, like I'd have to imagine that it's just very, very just stressful, right?
Right? Nobody wants to have to remember lies because one lie leads to another and another, and then you're just caught up in a web of bull crap.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely for
So,
sure.
I don't know, guys. You got to make sure that the people you surround yourself are filling your cup. You can't have people around you who are just taking and taking and taking and taking. That's not a friend. Look at me. Look at me. If they're
Hmm.
taking and taking and taking from you, that's not a friend.
I agree.
That is somebody that the moment you put your foot down and you put yourself first, they're going to be gone because they can no longer manipulate and use you for what they want.
Right.
Right? So that's why when Bruce says he's got these boundaries, it's for a damn reason. And that's because you have to love yourself more than anybody else. You have to. And that means you set boundaries. That means you don't put up with the crap that other people are doing that you don't like. That means that if it's too much for you and you're having a hard day, you tell somebody, no, I can't do that for you. And if they get mad or they have a negative mindset in that, they're not your friend to begin with. And I mean that with 1,000% accuracy.
Yeah, and for a long time, I had people telling me that I was selfish for putting myself first and loving myself first. It's not selfish, guys, because as Lily said, you can't possibly love anybody else properly if you're not loving yourself first.
No.
It's not
And
selfish to do
Bruce,
that.
what do they tell you when you get on a plane and that plane starts to go down? What is the first thing you are supposed to do, no matter who is sitting next to you?
Protect yourself, put your oxygen mask on, make
Put
sure
yours
you
on
have your
first.
float. Yeah, make sure you put yourself on first and then protect everybody else. Yeah,
You
you
know
gotta
why
protect
they
yourself.
make you put your air mask on first? Because you're useless to anybody else if you pass out
Right,
or if you're not there to help. So
right.
it is that important in real life and on an airplane that
Yeah,
you put yourself first. I love my kids. My kids go first after me because I'm nothing for them if I'm not putting myself first in every aspect of my life.
yeah,
That was the hardest lesson for me to learn. I thought I was a good mom and a good this and a good that, but I wasn't because I was showing them how not to love yourself, how to settle, how to accept less than what you deserve.
yeah.
That's because that's what you've picked. You're only as strong as the weakest link in your group. So if you don't surround yourself with everybody that's better than you, what are you doing? Not better than you, but that likes what you like, right?
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up like the surround yourself with good people, right? And I've become a lot more picky with who I let
Yes.
close to me. I become picky, and I'm okay with that. I wouldn't say I have a checklist, but I have kind of key things that I look for when it comes to relationships now. Not just significant others, but friends.
Friends.
And integrity is a big deal for me. Like if you can't sit here and show me with actions, not just words. Words to me are kind of just words to me don't matter anymore. If
Yes.
you can't
Yes.
continually show up and you can't continually action things and you can't do the right thing when no one's looking, because trust me, people are always watching, guys. If you can't continually show up and do the right thing when no one's looking, you're not my people, frankly.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. My circle is very small. Like I said, I mean, and I've got a lot of acquaintances and people that I care about, but I
Yeah,
have very few friends.
yeah,
You
and
know what
that's
I
okay.
mean?
And that's okay.
Like I got like two people in this whole world that know everything about me, and they're both here listening. One of them's probably mad at me right now. But I love this one more than anybody else. So
Yeah.
it's it was crazy that you picked this topic because this this is something I've been trying to push into somebody's brain for a couple weeks, and it hurts to watch. I'm not gonna lie, it hurts to freaking watch because I know the outcome, I know what's coming, and I know what it's doing.
Yeah. Well, I always ask the simple question, when you look at your people that surround you, if stuff were to hit the fan tomorrow, if you were to really, really get into a bad situation and you were to really go down a depression spiral and you were to kind of get some ideations that were whatever, who would you pick up the phone and call? Do you have anybody in your life that you would call if stuff were to get really bad? Not everybody has somebody that they can call. So if you actually have somebody on your list that you can call when stuff gets really bad, then that's you're doing something right, you know?
Yeah. I've got two people that I can call just about anything, and I got my mom. I had lost my relationship with my mom for a while through some of my selfish years, right? And my inability to face myself, right? And having her back is beyond a blessing because she's genuinely loved me my whole life, right?
Yeah.
Without condition, and it's really good to have her back. And since I've had my mom back, I've been even more picky about the people that I bring into my life,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
and I say that, y'all, not because I'm saying y'all have issues with parents or whatever, but everybody goes through things that they have to face in their life and put work in to fix so that you can find who you are and live the life rocking your vibe, finding your tribe. I lived angry because I allowed things to control me from my past, right? I'd been through things that I wouldn't wish on anybody.
Yeah.
But but I never dealt with them, right? So they took over. And then I started to settle. I started allowing people around me that were way less than what I deserved. I had people around me that abused things, substances and stuff. I eventually fell down that path just like you. And I,
Right.
like you, am in recovery. I have no desire to do that stuff anymore. Right. So, but I had to face who I was. I had to look myself in the mirror and cry. Y'all, I cried a lot talking to my therapist. I went through 3.5 years of therapy to find who I was. And I can't even say that I'm 100% now, right? But I'm a lot better than I was. So I say that because sometimes, y'all, we do have to talk through things. We have to face the bad things that have happened in our life. Because if you don't, then you're never going to be able to be true to who you really are.
Yeah, and yeah, I was just thinking about, and I don't know how much time we have, but I was just thinking about
Like
like
three
how.
minutes.
Okay, I was just thinking about how often, I'll ask the chat too if that's okay. How
Mhm.
often do we apologize for simply being ourselves?
All the time. I used to all the time.
Yeah, how often? Just I'm just asking in a general sense. How often do we just say sorry just for just existing? Like I used to do that all the time. I used to say sorry, sorry for this, sorry for that, sorry for this, sorry for that. I stopped saying sorry. Unless I actually needed to make an amends and like correct my behavior, I just simply I literally stopped saying sorry, and it's changed my mindset on a lot of things, Lily. Like I literally self-talk myself every day and I journal and stuff, and I won't get into the details on that, but I self-positive self-talk myself, and it's really changed how I think.
It's funny you say that because the last guy that I kind of sort of attempted to date that, I mean, it was like 45, 50 days. So it wasn't anything crazy, but it was long enough for him to look at me and go, you need to find yourself. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, I've never heard somebody say I'm sorry for just existing as much as you.
Yeah,
And that hit hard.
right.
So that was when I realized. And then after that was when I noticed and I started catching myself. And I was like, what am I doing? I had been
Yes.
apologizing for existing so
Right.
many times throughout every day that I didn't even realize that had become part of who I was. And I'm not apologizing for who I am. I am bright and shiny, and if it is too bright in here, I'm sorry. There's another room, but because I'm never gonna dim my light for nobody ever again. You know
Right.
what I
And
mean? Ever
and
again.
as you shouldn't, and maybe it's your past experiences that have maybe
Hmm.
made you believe that you have to say sorry. But
Hmm.
nobody should have to say sorry for simply breathing and existing.
Well, I'd been in a narcissistic relationship, and I was, I stuck with it for way longer than I should have, right? So
Yeah.
therefore, it I allowed him to pretty much take over. Right. It wasn't until the mental abuse turned to physical abuse. And even that took about 6 months for me to be like, okay, I gotta go. It's time to go. I can't do this. This isn't gonna work. But then it didn't really kick in until it was my kid that was in the line of danger. It took my kid getting in the line of danger for me to leave that relationship.
Mm.
Right. And that was the hardest thing I ever did. But that was my first step to finding myself and healing. Right. But it took a long time even after that, because I was in my early 20s. Right. This was over 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Kids definitely bring a different dynamic for sure.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We're no longer responsible for just ourselves.
No.
Yeah.
And you can't, again, my kid came first in that moment, but my kid coming first made me realize I needed to put myself first, because had I put myself first, my kid never would have been in that predicament in the first place.
Very true. That takes a lot of self awareness to even understand that, Lily.
It's a lot of brain work.
Yeah.
I don't, it's, oh,
But
I'm getting
but
real, y'all.
a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't even get that far though. Oh, the puppies.
There's a Paula puppy. I'm sorry. That one's so cute.
No, I know. I was gonna say.
I've never seen it
I know we're not
before.
supposed to acknowledge gifts, but
I know. Yeah, that's another rule. We're
the
not supposed to
puppy
acknowledge
swarm
gifts.
is lit.
And I'm
The
over
puppy
here
swarm
like,
is lit. I had to say so. I know maybe you're not, but I thought that was lit.
that was so cute. All right, Bruce. Was there anything else you wanted to add to this before? Do we have our second guest? I didn't see the second guest.
I don't know if
I
the
know I
second
want all of them.
I don't know if Lisa's here, but
I
yeah.
don't think so either. I don't know if you want to kind of keep talking, or if you want me to, if you've got something you have to do, because I
No,
know.
I don't have anything I can do. I can chill if Lisa's not here. I could talk about this for however long I need to, but
Well, I mean, there's always questions I can ask. What are the things that you like? What are maybe like the two most obvious changes you've made um in order to help put yourself first?
I had to really squash my ego, Lily. My ego can really become the worst version of myself. Like when my ego gets in the way, I can't become humble. I can't become a respectful human being. So I really had to squash my ego. When I was really drinking and drugging and stuff, my ego was just really out of control. So I had to really get my ego in check. And that was a big thing. And humility is a big thing. I had to humble myself. I had to humble myself in a lot of different things. And I had to realize that I wasn't the most important person in the room. That took some time.
And that doesn't mean you're not important. That simply means that it's all where it is of equal importance amongst the people.
Yeah.
That's just, so don't go. I know how some of these folks take words and twist it. It does not mean that you are less. It means you are
Yeah.
equal. That is just to be clear. And on what he's saying.
Yeah. And I don't know if people are familiar with like the alpha, the beta, and the sigma personalities. Are you guys familiar with that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
A sigma is something that I bring up that a lot of people aren't familiar with. But a lot of people are focused on, oh, I want to be the alpha in the room and stuff like that. I encourage people to look up sigma. I identify myself as a sigma, and that's more of an observer. And we speak when we need to speak. And we observe and we actually put thought into what we're about to say. And we aren't the loudest voice in the room, but we certainly try to be the most meaningful, impactful voice in the room.
Right. Being the alpha is exhausting. I feel
Yeah.
like alphas are people who need to work on themselves, because there's nobody that needs to be that assertive all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I get the alphas as far as business and stuff, but in a regular life, I just want equal. Somebody that, like you said, is willing to speak up when needed, but I don't have the time to fix everybody else's baloney.
Yeah. And one thing I brought up is journaling. Journaling has really changed my life for the better.
No.
I don't know if anybody journals, but I wanted to talk about an acronym that I do every night before I go to bed. And the acronym is just simple. It's Fred G. and I'll explain what each letter means. I can follow up with anybody on IG that wants this later. But Fred G, the F means how did I have fear that day? What fears did I exuminate, or that's not a word. What fears did I exemplify that day? R is did I have any resentments that day? Who was I resentful towards that day? And then I write them down. E, how was my ego there that day? D, was I dishonest that day? Did I lie to anybody that day? And then G, well, what am I grateful for that day? So Fred G, fears, resentments, ego, dishonesty, and gratefulness. So it helps me clean my side of the street every day, gets all the big stuff out of the way, and then I make an amends to anybody I need to make amends for, either that night or the next day or a couple days after. And I sleep pretty good at night, Lily.
I just keep people at bay.
I can type it in the chat.
I
Let me
sorry
type it
guys,
in the chat.
I'm still not fully awake. Hey, um, if you guys are just tuning in, this is Lessons Learned. I'm Silly Lily, and we got Bruce Wayne in the box, and we're kind of covering all kinds of basics, but what I'm getting mostly is you got to put yourself first. You have to understand that you're of equal. You're not better than other people, and that you can't continue to give to people who don't give back. That's what I'm getting, I think, from today. Um,
Yeah, and I think the overall theme as well, that I wanted to try to resonate, and that we now that we have just a little bit of time, is how far have we come as just a people to just back away from the basics, Lily, of human decency, treating each other with respect and kindness. We don't even like pick up the phone, and we don't even go see each other and have conversations anymore. People hide behind phones and text people, and they just ghost people and stuff. We don't even have real conversations anymore. My Nona from Italy used to write me a letter every month. She's about to pass away, so she doesn't do that anymore. But we used to be so much better as people of being connected, and we just don't do that anymore. Like we're just not kind to each other anymore, and it's really really heartbreaking.
it's too easy for immature, disrespectful, dishonest people who haven't found themselves to get on here and be what I call keyboard warriors. And it's easier for them to come on here and be rude and negative and meaner than hell than it is for them to look in a mirror and fix themselves. Right. So you have a whole group of people that are out to intentionally hurt people. It's just so they don't have to fix themselves because it makes them feel better inside to tear you down.
Yeah, it's
And that
easier.
I think
Yeah,
is the saddest part about this whole online world is how many people get on here and are just okay with hurting other people. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, this is not the stream for those kind of people because I just won't have it. I
yeah,
refuse to let anybody suck the energy out of me. I work too hard to be where I'm at. You know what I mean? And I'll be damned if anybody's gonna come and be an energy sucker from me.
right.
Not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you've worked hard. I think everybody streams for different reasons, right?
Hmm.
And it's nobody's place to judge why somebody streams. Too many people want to manipulate and control why people stream or should stream and so forth. That's none of our business. Like everybody can do what they want to do, but just try to lead with kindness, and don't make assumptions on people. Making assumptions is obviously very dangerous.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Thank you. Um, yeah, just you just be who you are, man. Be true to you. Be honest with the people in your life.
Oh, and one of the other things that I was thinking about as we're talking is, as I was going through my recovery from drugs and alcohol, I didn't love myself, Lily. I didn't love myself for a very long time. And I don't know if anybody in the chat is still struggling with anything where they don't necessarily love themselves, but somebody a lot smarter than me came up to me and said, "What are you doing, son?" And I said, "I'm struggling." And he said, "Do you love yourself?" And I said, "No, I don't love myself right now." And they said, "Well, you need to surround yourself with people who are going to love the crap out of you until you can love yourself again." So that is what I did. And this kind of goes back to what you said, Lily, that if we can surround ourselves with people who can love us until we can love ourselves again, then we can try to fake it till we make it type stuff. I hate that term. I do hate that term, fake it till you make it. But if you are in a position that you don't love yourself, then surround yourself with people that do love you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know everybody thinks like AA is a cult, but that's exactly what AA taught me.
Yeah, I've done the whole AA and AA stuff, NA stuff. Yep,
Yeah. They
for
were
sure.
there for me when I didn't know how to love myself. And no, I don't go anymore and I'm still doing okay, right?
Yeah, same.
But I have other ways that I handle things. Um, but for me, it did. They were there for me and they taught me that I'm lovable and I'm fun and I can be whatever I want to be other than an addict. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
true.
I find that I'm the best version of myself when I'm at service for other people. When I'm helping other people, I feel like I'm the best version of myself when I can get outside of myself, if that makes sense.
Right. But we also have to remember that if you're not fully fixed, you're really not helping anybody else.
No, I totally agree. You
You,
no,
you can't continue to help other people thinking you're actually doing good when you
yeah.
haven't put yourself first yet.
Yeah, too many people try to kind of do this when they're not very recovered or good and mentally, and it really really screws with them for sure.
It does because it takes away from what they should be doing and they know it,
That's why
which
they
then in
say if
turn
you're
eats at them more.
Yeah, that's why they say don't get into relationships like a year into trying to recover from any sort of mental health stuff, addiction stuff. Just wait. Just wait. Just work on yourself. Work on yourself.
It's not even in the aspect of dating,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
there's lots of things and reasons that we don't need to be doing and doing and doing for others.
Sure.
Like if you can't expect for your life to get better when you prioritize everybody else. And especially if you're a single mom who's got a kid that depends on you, you've got to get your act together because trying to help everybody else ain't doing nothing for your kid. And that kid needs to be your second priority.
Yeah. Very much so. I have a daughter, and she is a lot of the reason that I stay motivated. That's for sure.
Yep. As much as my kid irritates me and I want to sometimes, 'cause she bigger than me, y'all. So sometimes I just want to prove to her I'm still stronger, even though she's bigger. But Lordy, man, I love that kid more than anything else. I both my kids more than anything else in the world. And most days I do love them more than myself, but that doesn't mean I don't put myself first.
Yeah.
And once you understand that, then then I feel like you're at a good place to start helping other people. It took me a long time to get to this place where, because I'm finally not, I don't get me wrong, I raise my voice, I yell, I argue. She's 15 and a half. What do you expect? And she's at that age where she's going to push and test everything in existence, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the age, the hormones, y'all. Just and for those of you that are dealing with hormonal teenagers, remember what that was like for yourself and understand you're about to enter perimenopause slash the menopause part of your life. So you're about to be an emotional monster too. So patience with the teenage hormones, y'all, because they aren't
I
fun.
I agree.
Whew.
So let me ask you this, Lily, and maybe anybody else with kids. Like the last thing that I found the hardest to lose to try to throw control away from is my child. To stop the overthinking, stop the control. Like if my daughter were to be on the sports field, for example, or go do her activities or whatever, I found it very hard to not want to be in control of the situation with my child. Like if she were to get hurt, I would feel that wholeheartedly. If she would, yeah, if she would cry, or my ex-wife would do something that would make her upset, like I would want to control the situation. So how, I'd be curious, how would people in the chat, or how would you handle that situation in a general sense? Because I know what I did over time, but what does that look like for you? That was one of the
Um,
hardest things for me to handle.
so obviously we want to control our kids. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the one question I ask myself is, how easy were you to control? And when they tried to control you, what did you do? And the
Yeah.
more they tried to control me, the more I fought back.
Yeah.
And the more that they did for me, the less life lessons I learned. You know what I
Sure.
mean? So
Yeah.
much so that I didn't grow up until I was far into my adult years because I was given everything and everything was done. Like I didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? Like my grandma, bless her heart, thought she was doing good, but she enabled me through a lot of my ungrateful years, right?
Sure.
So having a teenager who I know is like me because I birthed the thing, you know, like I birthed it. I know she's got my attitude. My son
Mm.
was more like me as far as picking stupid things to do. She's more like me in an emotional sense. So I'm just there. I let her make the mistakes and I'm there. That's all I can do because she's not going to learn unless she does it. I don't care how many times I tell her don't touch. That's when she was a kid. Don't touch the stove. Don't touch the stove. Don't touch the stove. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. Stop touching the stove. Eventually she touches the stove, learns it's hot, and then she don't touch it again. But it took her
Yeah.
touching it to stop. Right.
Yeah.
So as hard as it is to watch your kid go through the things, now, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna put my foot in there if it's becomes a rug with a B that begins with a D related. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
put myself in there if I feel like it's an abusive friendship or relationship. But as far as dating the wrong people, like, and my kid even goes, "Mom, I don't even want to ask you if they're good for me anymore because she knows I'm always right." Right? Like like she had this one friend, and I told her, I said, this girl's not good for you. I said, I'm telling you right now, and about 6 months goes by, and she's, Mom, you were right. I should have listened, and she's crying and crying. So all I can do is speak what my feeling is. I can't control what the outcome is, but I can just be there for her to help her recover from it and to teach her that, people are like, my big thing is people are like parts of a tree. Most people are like a leaf. They're here for a season. They do their job. They either teach you something or you teach them something. And then, some people are like limbs, right? Like the limbs of a tree, right? They're here for a few years, maybe longer. They're pretty sturdy, right? They come back, but eventually sometimes even that limb breaks, right?
That's
So
a
you
good
lose
point.
that person.
That's a good
Very
point.
few people in your life are going to be like the root of that tree and be there till the end,
Yeah,
right?
that's a good point. That's a very good point.
So
Yes.
you've got to get used to people coming and going. You've got to understand that not everybody's going to be around forever. And that's life. Change is the only thing that's inevitable. We're guaranteed very few things in our life, right? And that's
Mm.
at birth, we're guaranteed, if you okay, not even that. You're guaranteed change and death.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, look, Bruce, look at back from when we were born to where we sit today with the technology and the instruments and just the way the schools are and everything is so different. It's so different. It's crazy. But we got to accept the change.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, that was well
All
said.
right. All right. It's 10:58. That means this hour's wrapping up. Bruce, was there anything else you did want to add to that a little bit?
No, I think I'm
Jonathan,
good.
they've already answered you 6 or 7 times. If you can't catch the clue, you're going to be removed.
No, I think I'm good. This was a very healthy discussion. I appreciate your time.
No, thank you. Tell these folks, when do you stream? What are your lives like?
So
And do you have any
you
other
can catch
events?
me, yeah, you can catch me daily. I do have a Mental Health Monday show at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you or anybody you know is interested in being a guest on my Mental Health Monday show at 8 p.m. Eastern, hit me up on a IG or my admin Beard Raider, and we can get you on there. I actually am looking for somebody for this Monday, and future Mondays. So if you have a topic that you want to do for mental health, just hit us up on IG and we can get you started on that. As far as, yeah, you can catch me every day. We are pretty chill. I'm pretty musically oriented in my streams. We're just really just catching vibes, and just come hit the fave and come see us.
All right, Bruce. Thank you so much, y'all. Hit the fave, check them out. And Bruce, have a good weekend.
See you guys.
Bye. I made it through my hour, y'all.